Welcome to Knowledgeable Aging. I'm your host, Jason Kotar. Joining us today to talk about for most helpful apps is Tiffany DiPanni. Tiffany is the founder of Social Savvy Seniors based out of Palm Beach County, Florida. She offers specialized programs and training to help older adults and caregivers adapt to the digital world we live in. She believes the greatest generations are not given the same opportunities as others who are more tech savvy, and she is working hard to change that. Simple technology skills can be life-changing for many, and she is happy to share some of these information with you today. How are you doing today, Tiffany?
I'm great. Thank you, Jason. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for joining us. But before we get started, Tiffany, I want to invite those that are joining us for the live webinar. If you have any questions, you'll have a toolbar on your right-hand side. There's an opportunity. If you have any questions, type those questions in. Time permitting, we will do everything in our power to get your questions answered. So, Tiffany, I am going to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate your organization and everything it does to bring knowledge and education to the community. So thank you again. Let's jump right into it. We're here to talk about some helpful apps that you can use on your smart devices. And although many of these are geared towards the seniors, almost anybody can be using these for life-changing kind of operations. So, all right. So here we go. Let's start about who is this woman that you're looking at and talking. So these are the original Social Savvy Seniors. These are my parents. I was born in the grand state of Rhode Island. And as you can see, I was born a little later in life. So I spent a lot of time growing up with my family, my grandmothers, my great aunts. I played golf, so a lot of their friends. So these are our founding members, and I never do a presentation without giving them the credit, because if it wasn't for these wonderful women you see here on the screen, I wouldn't be here on the screen with you. So quick overview of where I came from. I had a corporate career for way too many years, and then I got into marketing, and now I have my passion project, which is my heart and soul of teaching technology to seniors. And I do that based out of beautiful, sunny Jupiter, Florida. But we work with seniors all around the world. And as they say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that couldn't be more true for what I do. So if you agree with me, you're in the right place. Technology is not fair. And COVID-19 did nothing but advance how quickly technology was advancing. And it just fast forwarded things so fast. And it's hard to keep up normally, but now we've gotten accustomed to a time where we were isolated, we were alone, and sometimes technology was our virtual lifeline. It was the only way that we could get groceries, we could connect with people. But now, as things are coming back to what people want to say a normalcy, and we're getting back together, we have to realize that we have gone to the point of no return. So the restaurants that you went to that are giving you QR codes for their menus are probably not going to go back to regular menus. They've trained us in this new forms of technology to help their business, but it leaves so many seniors behind. So there's two types of seniors when it comes to technology. There's the new tech excitement, and then there's the anxiety and frustration. And I'm pretty sure most of us are in this latter portion. But the great news is you have us to help you, and so many resources like Knowledgeable Aging and others that you can find to really help you get through this tech world. So today we're going to talk about apps. What's an app? If you did pay attention to my last name, it's a bit Italian. So if you were to say app to me, this is what I would think of. So you're not wrong if you did. But what we're talking about today is an app, which is short for application. It's software on your smart device. And when I say smart devices, I mean any device that can connect to the internet, and it's mobile. So your tablets, your iPhones, your Samsung phones, your Fires, your Kindles, those are all smart devices. And they all have apps, which are software that go on them. They're also known as programs. So if you remember the old days of Windows and Macs where we would actually put a software on the program or a program on software, that might be more relatable to you. And when you get a device, you may not even realize that some of these apps are already on your phone, but some of them you have to go get. Some may require internet, some may not. Most are free, which is the best part, but some do require a small subscription, which aren't usually too bad if it's a necessity for you. So I want you to be aware that there are 3 types of apps. There's ones that go on your computer, there's your mobile apps, which we're going to focus on today, and then there's web browser apps. So when you see something on your computer or online, don't get confused. You might actually see apps that can go across all 3. But today, we're just going to focus on mobile. So, how would I download an app? Where do I go get an app? It's in one of my favorite places. It's called a store. So, now, what I want you to do is if you have your phone around you, we have to go search for apps in stores. And it depends on what type of device you have as to where you're going to shop. So, if you've seen these icons around, you might have said, I have no idea what that means and just passed by it. But this means that you can actually get an app or a service onto your phone on these 2 stores. Now, the difference between these 2 stores, again, is what kind of device you have. So if you have an Android device or a Google-based device, Samsung Galaxies or anything like that, you might have the Google Play Store. That is that store that you go get your apps. Now, if you have any Apple devices, iPhones, tablets, you would go to the Apple App Store. And these are the 2 places that you go. So you would want to open your phone and look for these 2 icons on your phone or your tablets or whatever device you're looking, and that's where we would start. Then we're going to have to search for it. So they're going to give you a lot of recommendations on, you can search by category or name, but we're going to pretend that we are actually going to search for something specific, okay? So whenever you see this magnifying glass on any type of website, program, app, that always means search. And again, depending on what device you have, it may be different where it is. So some Apple users, you might see your magnifying glass down to the right hand side of the screen. Some may see it in the middle. Galaxy friends or Google friends, you're going to see it up at the top. So wherever you see that magnifying glass, you're going to tap in that search bar, which is that gray area. That's going to give you the ability to actually type in what you're looking for. All right. Now, when you get those, you're going to see, I typed in word search, okay? But I need you to be careful because just like internet and just like everywhere else, there's advertisements. And your top results are not always your best results. You have to be careful of that. So I want you to watch closely for these ads. I looked up word search games, one of my favorites I used to play with my grand. But you'll see the top one here says ad. The second one says ad. Now, below it, they don't have the advertisement on there because they happen to be the top 2 that everybody loves. And how do we know that? Because another thing I want you to pay attention to is the number of downloads. If you look to the right, where it says that download button, which is the arrow pointing down in the box, and it says 5M+. That's 5 million people that have downloaded this app. The other one below says 10 million people. So you're pretty much guaranteed that this is a good, safe, and enjoyable app. Now, if I was to continue searching for word searches, I might see programs and apps that have 10,000 downloads or 5,000 downloads. And that might seem like a lot to you, but when you remember that these are available to everybody in the world, that really is not a significant number. So we want those numbers to be in the millions or at least the high 100,000s, unless it's Say your doctor's office could have an app, or your local restaurant, they might have smaller numbers. So, but this is a big one when you search for one that's general. Okay, so we see our 5 million, our 10 million. So just to review, when you go to download any apps that we're about to talk about, you're going to go into the appropriate store, whether it be your Google Play or your Apple App Store. You're going to search for what you want, where that magnifying glass is. You're going to pay extra attention to the number of downloads and to the ads. Now, depending on what device you have, you'll either click install for our Google friends or get for our Apple friends. And then you might have to log into your account. It depends on how your device and your security settings are set up, but shouldn't be an issue. And then enjoy your new apps. So, have you ever heard the saying, there's an app for that? It's true. It is true, I promise. Anything you can think of, I guarantee there's an app for that. And if there isn't yet, it's probably on the way. So let's go over some of the fun apps and useful apps that are going to be really great to help you on a daily basis. There are apps for communication. There are apps for social media. There are ones for entertainment and education, your health, your wellness, and even some daily tools. So let's start with communication. Email. One of the easiest, fastest ways of communication before your text messages came around. And there's several different sources that you can use to get your email. So I'm a fan of Gmail, but if you have an Apple phone, you might see the icon there in blue. You might have a Yahoo email, or you might use Outlook. But these are some apps that you can download to use an email system. Now with Apples, you might be able to import a Gmail or a Yahoo to it, doesn't matter. But just know that when you see those email icons on your phone, it's an app. How about audio and video chat? If you haven't done a Zoom in the last 3 years, I don't know where you've been. So Zoom and Google Meets, those have been the two biggest video chats for groups, for large groups. And Zoom became number one of the charts when COVID hit, because at the time they were most advanced. But over the last few years, they've kind of caught up with the others. Now, if you're a Google fan, you might go to Google Meets, but Zoom seems to be the universal language for many video chats on a personal level. Families, you could have an entire up to 50 people on there. So it's a great way to connect visually and audibly. FaceTime and Duo. Now, these are two types of audio and video chats that you use on your mobile devices like your phones or your tablets. Now, FaceTime has become quite a common lingo in our terminology these days, but it's important that you know the definition. FaceTime is a video chat only with Apple users. So if I have an Apple phone, the person that I'm talking to has to have an Apple phone in order for us to FaceTime. That is just the name for Apple's video chat. If you have a Google phone, they have Duo, and that is I can talk to a Google user from my Google phone using Duo. But what happens when you're like me and I'm a Google user and my mom is an iPhone user? We can't FaceTime and we can't Duo. So what do we use? We use applications like Skype or WhatsApp. Skype was common to a lot of people in the early video days, so we like to include that here. But WhatsApp is one of my absolute favorite apps for communication. I'm going to tell you a few reasons why. Number one, as long as you're connected to the Wi-Fi, you can text or call, an actual phone call, anybody in the world that has that app, and it's absolutely free. So if you're traveling, you have friends and family overseas, you can contact them via video chat, phone call, or text message for absolutely nothing but your wireless connection anywhere in the world. It also allows you to do group text, group videos, and send really large files. So if you had taken a video during your travels and wanted to send it to your family, if it's too big to go through a text message or an email, WhatsApp is really great for that. So WhatsApp, if you don't know who has what kind of phone, I totally advise you to download the app WhatsApp. You'll be very surprised as to how many of your friends are actually on there. Social media, one of my favorites. It gets a little bad rep now and then, but I have to tell you, it's one of the most engaging tools for the senior community. What is it? It's exactly what it says. It's media in a social form. So it's an internet-based form of communication that engages people through all types of media. And it's a type of information sharing system, a place where you can make connections. And when I tell you it is endless amount of content, you will go down the rabbit hole really quick on cute dog videos and funny trick videos. But it's more than that, okay? So social media is also real-time information. If anybody remembers when in Paris and the cathedral was burning down, one of the first places it was seen was on Twitter and on Facebook, and it was live, it was real time. So we're not going to go depth into these platforms, but you might be aware and recognize some of these icons and some of these names. You have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. TikTok has grown so much during the health pandemic through the world. It's all about video. TikTok is strictly video. Twitter became popular during some presidential elections, and a lot of people wanted to know what Twitter was. Twitter is quick information sharing. It's not really a platform a lot of people spend a lot of time on, but we like to at least mention it in there to know that it's something you could explore. YouTube is my absolute favorite. Anything and everything you want to find is on YouTube, and we'll go through that a little bit more. And Instagram, Facebook are great for following friends, families, celebrities, businesses, anything you can imagine. How about entertainment? So we talked about social media. You can play games. We've got audio entertainment and we have visual entertainment. So how about games? We've all heard of Candy Crush and Words with Friends, and you hear all of these things about people spending way too much time on it. But I got to tell you, for the older population, it can be very helpful because it stimulates the mind. There are memory training games. It helped pass the time when so many seniors were isolated during the beginning of the pandemic. And a great thing is you can play by yourself with many of these, or you can actually connect with other people and play Words with Friends against your game or Scrabble. There's endless possibilities. And the great thing is most are free. They will try to get you to maybe purchase some more coins or get unlimited play on some, but for the most part, you can play as long as you want. So a couple of my favorites are Scrabble, Bingo, Words with Friends, Word Search, there's Trivia, Sudoku, Crosswords, Brain Code. Brain Code is a brain teaser one that is absolutely fabulous and free. And when you go to the App Store to find these apps and these games, these are the icons that you will see. And that's the icon that when you download it to your device that you're going to see on the home screen to open it up. So you just want to be sure that when you go to search for something, you're also matching it up with the appropriate icon. What about entertainment from audio? There's music, audiobooks, and podcasts. I have a lot of clients that that love books and they love to read, and they will actually get the book, but they also get it on audio because they can take it walking, they can take it in the car, and it's a great form of entertainment. So as for music, there's a plethora of places that you can get your music from. But the top three that I love that seem to be the easiest to use are Spotify, Pandora, and Prime Music. If you have Amazon Prime, the entertainment opportunities are endless. We could do a whole hour on the benefits of Prime and how great it is. But if you do have Prime, I highly suggest getting it there. You have podcasts on there. If you don't know what a podcast is basically just, it originated as people talking, having a discussion. So think of it as an old talk show, but you couldn't see them. It was just hearing. But now everybody gets everything on a podcast, from a replay of this presentation to a crime novel or to a series of other documentaries. Like but it's all audio. So that's the key. And depending on what device, again, that you have, which could be your Apple or your Google device, is going to be what app you get. There's also third-party podcast apps like Castbox. Those are great too. It's really just up to you as to what you feel comfortable using. So don't feel, you can go ahead and download a couple, try them out, and then remove them, the ones you don't want. Now, audiobooks, Audible, Amazon Kindle, and a new one I found called Libby. Libby is completely free, all audiobooks, and it connects with libraries from across the country. So you can just exchange books. And Audible is owned by Amazon. You can get a subscription. Amazon Kindle gives you tons of free books. So these are just some great places to get audio entertainment. Also, especially important for our seniors with vision impairments. These are great for them. Speaking of visual, what else can we do for visual entertainment? Well, we've got television, we've got movies, we've got streaming services. And what I love about it is you can even get those nostalgic moments back, right? So Netflix, Apple TV, and Prime Video, Amazon Prime, are kind of your top 3 of the originators of streaming. So we've also got Disney Plus and Hulu. So these all require some sort of subscription. Most streaming services do. But you can get so much entertainment, movies, TV series. But which one you get is going to depend on what you want to watch and how much you want to pay. So, for example, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN have a package deal if you like all 3. Or if you're a Grace and Frankie kind of girl, then you have to get Netflix to watch it. But if you're a Marvelous Mrs. Maisel fan, you have to get Prime Video to watch it. So it really is a personal choice as to what streaming service you're using, but just know there are so many options. YouTube's another one. Now, first of all, to go on YouTube is absolutely free, but they have a subscription service as well that can give you TV, videos, everything. And another great one is Roku. Now, Roku has a subscription to entertainment, but Roku is also a device that can make your TV into a smart TV. And what I like about these Rokus is that if you travel, you can take it with you and plug it in, and you have all of your Netflix, your Prime Videos, all that there for you. So we're going to go into education. These are some of our top apps for education, right? So we always want to be learning. We always want to be advancing and growing and learning about local stuff, national stuff, future things. So you can get any type of news outlet, major news outlet that you follow. So if you're a BBC person, if you're a Wall Street Journal person, those you can always get, a Palm Beach Post person, right? We want to get the Weather Channel. Sometimes the phone comes with a weather app, but it's probably not the most reliable. The Weather Channel has a great free app. If you live in states where you have snow, hurricanes, heat drives, you really want to be aware of what's going on to plan ahead. AARP has some fantastic information. Coursera and TED, these are fantastic places to really increase your professional knowledge for our baby boomers that are still in the business. You can also look at YouTube, and Facebook, I believe, is such a great place for gaining your knowledge. Now, especially important to our seniors is their health and wellness. You always have to pay attention to this. It's something that becomes more important as we grow older. And so there are apps that can help you with this. GoodRx is an app that you can get from the store, and what it will do is it puts your prescriptions in and tells you where it is at the lowest price. So you might be getting your prescriptions at CVS, but it'll tell you that it might be cheaper at Walgreens or your local grocery store. MediSafe and Pillboxy are for your medication reminders. So you can put in your whole calendar of medications, when you should be taking them and how much. You put those in, and it'll actually give you a reminder that you need to take your medicine and when you're due for refills. Shopwell is an awesome app for our seniors that are on health restrictions. You can go in there and put what kinds of foods you need to be eating. Do you need high protein? Do you need antioxidants? Do you need anti-inflammatory foods? It will give you the food items, show you recipes, and so much more. Fit On is a free wellness and workout app. From beginner to intermediate to advanced, absolutely free, and it's all exercise programs that you can do. How about your Fitbits? Do you have a smartwatch? Those are fantastic. You can monitor your blood pressure, your steps, so much more, but you need an app to control it, right? Then you also have YouTube, and then there's yoga apps. There could be stretching apps. It's endless. So these are just a few. Screenshot this, check it out. Those are the ones that we love the most. All right, to close up, these are the most helpful text as daily tools that you have on your phones and your devices, and you probably don't even know. You have an alarm clock, you have a timer, and you have a calendar. Whether which device you have, it could be somewhere else, it could be listed under somewhere, but I guarantee you have all of these. Apple friends, you have reminders, you all have voice recorders, and a place to put notes. We have calculators, we have cameras, we have flashlights, magnifying glasses. There's a place to put your emergency info. Everyone comes with maps, so when we get lost, you can even do a map walking. It's not just a car. These are all on your devices, and so many people don't even know about them. And think about how helpful they could be on a daily basis. And then if you have some of these gadgets, well, guess what? You need to download an app to use it. So find my keys with a tile device that sends an obnoxious noise to find your keys. You need an app. Home command centers like Alexa or Google's, they need an app. Your smartwatch, a medical device, it's all controlled through apps. So think of the things that you can do. Finance management through your banks. You can have QuickBooks or any type of budgeting. Online shopping, transportation and delivery services. These are all done through apps. So it's very important that you're aware of them and how you can access them safely. So apps are for connections. They're there to pass the time. They're there for you to learn something new. Sometimes it can even be a medical necessity. And it's an essential tool when you need something and can't get it. But what I believe is that we all have the younger generations have a moral responsibility to help the older generation with this technology, because you aren't inept, you aren't unable. It's just something you're not familiar with. And unfamiliarity causes a little bit of discomfort because you're not in that comfort zone with a phone or a tablet. But fortunately, we're here to help you. And I thank you so much for taking your time. And if you have any questions, I know that Jason was going to go through the chat.
Yep, we've got a couple questions. That's wonderful stuff. Thank you so much, Tiffany. The first question, is there a limit or how many apps can I put on my device?
So the limit of apps that you can put on your device would be related to how much storage you actually have on your device. So usually you'll hear the word gigabytes, and that's a measurement of storage data. So my phone has 256 gigabytes. I could potentially put hundreds of apps on there. But if your phone only has 50 gigabytes, 100 gigabytes, then you might be limited. It might slow your phone down. So I suggest that you just add what you need. And there's always a place in your phone that you can look at your storage, check that out. Maybe you need a new phone. If you have gotten a new phone within the last, say, 3 years, then I would think you're pretty safe on storage.
Very good. If I put an app on one device, does it go directly to the other?
That also depends on what kind of device you have. So if you have an Apple user and there is actually a setting you can put, which is app sync. And so if you have your tablet and then you have your phone and you have it set to sync the apps, just like your cloud, it syncs your contacts and everything. You can control what syncs and what doesn't. So you have the potential to do that, and you have the potential not to. Google devices run a little bit differently, so you may have to put that back on another device.
How do I know if an app is safe to download?
Okay, so that is the first thing is if it's an app from, say, your doctor's office or a restaurant for you to collect points that you go to a lot. You'll see a lot of food chains and retail places will say download the app to do your rewards point. If you see those, then they have that low count of downloads. They might have they might be lower, but if you know that, yes, this is my app, you can actually go to the store. But the other way, if you're just trying to find something in general, like a magnifying app or a game, then remember that we want to, one, pay attention to the ads, because your first results are not always your best. And two, make sure that they have a significant amount of downloads.
What if I want to remove an app from my device?
You can always remove apps from your device. Now, you may have some apps are required to run your device, so but those you might not even see. But if you are done with an app or you've downloaded a couple just to try them out, most phones, when you go to your home screen, if you just hold down your finger on that app, you'll get a pop-up. Or if you're an Apple user, your screen will jiggle and there'll be a little red button. Another way to do it is to go into your settings, go to your app manager, and you can delete it from there. So but it's completely possible and completely safe to delete whatever you put on your phone.
Very good. We have one last question, Tiffany. Somebody just asked, is there best practices for how to use Google Play Store, the app? In other words, how to begin to use it? Is there best practices for that?
I always suggest that you can, once you open the Google Play Store, it's going to at the top have the search bar for you to search for something specific. But if you scroll down a little bit, you can search for, it'll give you categories of different types of apps, different types of whatever you're looking for. You can actually just browse around and have some fun with it. But if you're looking for something specific, kind of what we went over earlier is, one, whatever you search for, remember that the first couple of results are not always the best or the correct one. So you want to just scroll through and look for what you're looking for. You want to look for the number of downloads. So if it's a game that you're not sure of, make sure it has a significant amount, like 1 million plus. If it's, your doctor's office has an app, but there's only 20,000 downloads or 10,000, then that's fine, because it's your doctor's. But I just am always just say always be careful of what you're downloading, no matter if it's an app or not. But as long as you're paying attention and being aware, you're pretty safe on the Play Store.
Excellent. Well, Tiffany, how can people find you?
All right. Well, I'm located in Jupiter, Florida, but I am online at socialsavvyseniors.com, which is www.socialsavvy, SAVVY, seniors with an S at the end.com. Our email is palmbeachseniors@gmail.com. So again, all one word, Palm Beach Seniors, PALMBEACHSENIORS@gmail.com. Or you can always use that old-fashioned way to call, and that is 954-445-2378.
Excellent. Well, thank you once again, Tiffany. Extremely informative. As far as Knowledgeable Aging, you can go to our website, knowledgeableaging.com. You can see all of our upcoming and archive webinars. Go to YouTube. I ask you to subscribe. We update that several times per month. If podcasts are your thing, you can find us on Apple Tunes, Spotify, etc. Till next time, I'm your host, Jason Kotar, and this is Knowledgeable Aging.